Point of View is brought to you in association with Stanbic Bank, moving forward.
Hello, this is The Point of View. We're live on City TV and we bring you the right guests, ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you. And tonight we have a very important conversation, a conversation that is really troubling many in the country. So in 2018, Ghana recorded 64 cases of kidnapping, according to the Ghana Police Service. And between January and April ending 2019, we've already reported on our website 20 cases. What is the cause of this increased spate of kidnappings in the country? How many of these issues have been resolved? What is the police and what are the authorities doing about this? This is my topic for the show. I have a very exciting panel for you, but it's an interactive show, so you can get in touch with us in a number of ways. As the show goes on, you can send us a WhatsApp message on the number on your screen. You can also get in touch if you're watching on Facebook at CityTVGH, or you can tweet at us at Point of View. When we come back, you'll hear more about my guests. Stay with us. So we're tackling this from a couple of angles. We have the security expert in studio, Adams Bona. This is his second appearance on the show. He's been quite vocal about not just kidnapping, but general insecurity in the country. And we're happy to have him again. Adams, great to have you. Good evening.
Good evening.
We also have Bright Appiah. He's the executive director of Child's Rights International. Because a number of the kidnappings have involved children, he's particularly concerned. He's leading a campaign to help find, in particular, the 3 Takoradi girls. And he's also championing other issues to do with children. Bright, great to have you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Bernard.
We also have City FM and City TV security correspondent Anas Seidu, who's been following a lot of these cases, joining us in studio. Before I introduce him, he filed a report a couple of days ago summarizing the state of this kidnapping issue for this first quarter of 2019. This is the video.
In the country's recent history, the phenomenon of kidnapping was minimal, if not alien, to the crimes recorded annually in Ghana. But according to records of the police CID, cases of kidnapping have surged over the past year. Here is Deputy Director General of CID, ACP George Nana Chunibua, with the kidnapping statistics for the year 2018.
There were 64 reported cases of kidnappings. Full assessments show that 23 of these cases were true cases of kidnapping. 28 of the reported cases were abduction cases. 7 of them involved missing persons. 6 were refused as untrue cases. And the police were able to arrest 11 suspected kidnappers. Of these 11 suspected kidnappers, 4 of them are on remand, and 1 kidnapper has been convicted and sentenced to a 10-year jail term.
In January 2019, news reports of the kidnapping of 3 girls from the Western region provoked a national conversation about kidnapping, with many calling for action from the Ghana Police Service. 3 months down the line, the CID boss, COP Mamiya Tiwa Dodankwa, gave this update.
The kidnapping of the 3 ladies from Takoradi. Together with the BNI, we've worked very well, and currently we know where the girls are. I am unable to give the details because we don't want to compromise their safety. We are working hard together with other stakeholders so that these girls are brought back home safely. The assurance to the family is that they should keep on keeping on. The ladies, we know where they are and they are safe. So very soon, they will be brought back home and they will go back to their family.
But the family called for more.
We are in pain. We are like, it's not easy for us. So at least we are begging her. If truly what they are saying is true, please, Madam Tiwa, I'm begging you, please, just talk to my mom. Tell her what is going on. Because it's like you have left us in the dark. We don't know what is going on. Please, we are pleading with you, please.
Whilst this went on, in January 2019, 19-year-old Esther was kidnapped at Sokode in the whole municipality of the Volta region. Same month, 41-year-old Samuel Ofer was arrested in Koforidua for kidnapping a young boy and demanding a 2,000 Ghana cedis ransom. Still in January, a second-year student of the Takwa Senior High School was kidnapped and later rescued by the police. In March this year, a 9-year-old boy was released back to his family at Aboso, a suburb of Aguna Soedro. This was after the family paid a 3,000 Ghana cedis ransom to the kidnappers. Same month, 2 suspects, Charles Apia and Manasseh Fumi, were arrested by the Ejisu police for kidnapping a 14-year-old. Also in April 2019, police from the Accra Regional Police Command rescued a 30-year-old woman who was kidnapped by 2 Nigerians. One of the suspects was subsequently arrested. Just last week, an Indian businessman was kidnapped in the Ashanti region and rescued by the police. In another development, residents of Kasua threatened to evict Nigerian nationals from the area following the killing of a kidnapped victim who was allegedly linked to the Nigerians. With these and many more cases of kidnappings in recent times, it appears the unpopular crime has gained grounds, and this demands a sophisticated strategy to deal with it.
So that was Anas Seidu's report. Anas is also here with us. As I said, I have Adams Bona, security expert, and Bright Appear. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. So when did you put this report together, Anas?
That was yesterday.
Yesterday. So we are told 64 cases in 2018, and we haven't added the 2019 cases.
Not yet.
Just remind me of the breakdown of the 2018 cases. How many were true kidnappings?
Okay, there were 64 cases that were reported.
Reported, okay.
This is what happened. When you go to the police station, then you tell them that I suspect that my relative has been kidnapped. They will record it as a kidnapping case. Then they will start to investigate.
Okay.
If it's confirmed, then it's a true case of kidnapping.
Great.
If it's not confirmed and it happens that it was false alarm, then it will be classified as an untrue case of kidnapping.
Okay.
In some cases, out of the 64 that were reported, according to the police, 22 were true cases of kidnapping. They were actually kidnapped. 28 of them were abduction.
Abductions.
It means that these people were actually picked up, but the people holding them didn't reach out to the families to ask for ransom before they are released. So maybe.
So you can go and take your child from your estranged partner and take him away.
Take him away.
That's not a kidnapping.
Or you pick your girlfriend from a school, then you go detain her at your place for a
That's
period.
Abduction.
So they also realized that 7 out of the 64 cases involved missing
So they couldn't
people.
prove the kidnapping.
Yes.
All right. Now, in our intro, we said in 2019 we've had about 20 cases. So I want to put on the screen some of the city news stories on kidnapping from last year, just to give people a flavor of. So, for example, August 4, 2 Russians in court for kidnapping. 2 Russians were accused of kidnapping 2 persons at East Legon and holding them hostage for several months. Nigerian hairdresser in court for allegedly kidnapping 2-year-old. This is October 10 last year. This is Aisha Kumiye, a Nigerian businesswoman, a Nigerian who allegedly stole a 2-year-old girl. 24-year-old man arrested at Pram Pram for kidnapping 2 kids. This is November 7 last year. This is Ofako. Ofako is in the outskirts of Accra, near Amasaman, if I'm not mistaken. And then 24-year-old man jailed for kidnapping 2 kids, the case. And then suspected Nigerian kidnapper rearrested January 4, 2019. And then the Takrady story runs through quite a lot of it. And then 2 SHS students allegedly kidnapped. This one was proven to be false. It was a false alarm. And then if you come to the next page, man visiting daughter at school almost lynched over false kidnapping alert. This is February this year. And then March 6, insecurity and kidnapping concerns Cloud 62nd Independence Anniversary. So in March, it's still a big issue. Look at March 27. Ashanti region, police arrest 2 for kidnapping, rescues 14-year-old victim. This is the police in Ashanti region. Then there's a story by Ifia Tenge, increased cases of kidnapping worrying. It says, the Ghana Police Service has described as worrying the recent cases of kidnapping and attacks on foreign nationals in the country. So she points out to foreign nationals, the fate of 3 families in the Western region continues to hang in the balance, and then the story goes on and on and on. This week, Nabil Makram Busbus, 61-year-old Lebanese consular general and head of missions of Estonia to Ghana, successfully rescued after some Nigerians abducted him. And then the PRO of the Ghana Police Service told City News that this trend of crime can lead to a cause for alarm. And then the police is also on a manhunt for 3 Nigerian nationals involved in the kidnapping of Nabil Makram Busbus. And then meanwhile, the CID of the Ghana Police Service has identified the location of the 3 girls. This was when the infamous statement was made by the police CID boss. Then I'll go to the final page. A lot of this on the 3 Takoradi girls. If you go, for example, February 4, police in search for missing JHS student at Akim Anamasi. We don't know if it's a kidnapping issue. Who missing 19-year-old girl may be with boyfriend, according to Guardian. And 19-year-old boy arrested over disappearance of girlfriend. Anas, you've been going for police press conferences. Can you give me more insight into these numbers? Why we are having all of these increases and what the police are saying in the press conferences they address?
The last press conference where the police actually spoke about kidnapping, the Deputy Director General for CID, ACP Chunibua, said something. He said, from the records, looking at the numbers, kidnapping is something that is on the rise. It's increasing. And if we compare it to some other crimes that were leading before, it's like kidnapping wants to overtake them. For example, robberies. Robberies were something, for instance, in 2018 January, we had about 194 robbery cases in January 2018.
This is Accra.
Nationwide.
Okay.
For January. Fast forward 2019, we had about 70 cases.
So robberies have come down.
Dropped from over 190 to about 70.
Mm-hmm.
When you take kidnapping, compare the previous figures of reported cases of less than 20 to reported cases of over 60.
So the police are thinking that the criminals may have switched
from robbery
to kidnapping. Do you have a police voice or video clip on this?
ACP Chunibua actually spoke about the statistics of robberies in the past 5 years.
In comparing that to kidnapping?
Yes. It preceded the voice that was in my report.
On the kidnapping.
So we can watch the video of the robbery statistics that were put out there by ACP Chunibua.
Yes. All right, so let's view that.
From January 2015 to January 2019, we are picking only the Januaries. From 2015 to 2019, we had 85 cases of robberies in 2015, January 2015. In January 2016, we had 123 reported cases of robberies countrywide. In January 2017, there were 134 cases of robberies reported countrywide. January 2018, 194 cases of robberies were reported. And in January 2019, we had 73 cases of reported robberies, which makes January of 2019 the lowest recorded cases of robberies for the past 5 years.
I see. So the view is that the drop in robberies in January 2019 is out of the ordinary.
There's a sharp drop in the figure.
Wow. But did they give a reason?
And
maybe Adam will explain. He's the analyst. So let's just try and understand. Just talk to me about some of the high-profile cases. So there's been the Takoradi one. which is the biggest one, right?
Yes, that's the biggest so far as kidnapping is concerned. One case that's yet to gain much public attention is the rescued Estonian consulate.
Rescued Estonian
consulate. He's a Lebanese, but he's residing in Ghana as the Estonian consulate in Ghana.
Is it Ashanti case? No, it's the Greater Accra.
It happened in Greater Accra.
One around the Spintex.
Yes,
on
the
okay.
one around Spintex Road. And actually, that particular story, I followed it up from Adam Bonner because he first received information about it. These people kidnapped him. He was in the room for days. And if you look at how he was kidnapped, he went out, he was picked up on the street and locked up. The police actually went to the place to check because they reported to them of some suspicious activities of the people there. And these were also Nigerians. When they went there...
So people around suspected of something going on in the house. But so the police went there.
They went there to check. These guys ran away. And when they entered the house, they found the kidnapped victim.
And how long had he been there?
According to him, he's been there for almost a week.
Wow.
Almost a week.
So that's one of the high-profile ones?
That's one of them. And the Indian businessman who was kidnapped in Kumasi.
When was this? This week?
Last week.
Last week. He was rescued on Friday. I was actually at the CID headquarters following up on the story when a call came that the man has been rescued by the police in the Ashanti.
Do we know how he was kidnapped?
Similar.
He was taken hostage.
His case
taken
was
hostage.
His case was just similar to that of the consulate that was kidnapped in Accra. And the Kaswa case is very devastating.
The 2-year-old
that was kidnapped. And if we look at the stories and the allegations, the suspicions, all pointed out to allegedly Nigerians. Because somebody said she saw Nigerians drive a black car to the area and they drove off swiftly after realizing that people's attention were on them. And later, they found the sleepers of the dead boy around that area, and few meters away, the dead body was.
And this is a 2-year-old child who was
at Kaswa.
Amazing. Has any arrest been made on this case?
Not yet.
So these are three: the Indian, the Lebanese, Estonian, and then the 2-year-old. And then the 3 Takrady girls have also not been found.
Not yet.
These are the high-profile cases, and there are other cases as well.
Yes.
Incredible. Okay, so viewers, this is the point of view. So Adams, what are your initial thoughts on this rather scary? I mean, I don't know. This doesn't seem surprising to you at all, does it?
It doesn't. It doesn't. Well, good evening to your viewers and my co-panelists. It doesn't. It's not surprising to me because you just have to probably go around the countryside, especially the border areas, and you would realize how porous, the borders are. And also take it, the influx of, what do you call it, foreign nationals coming in without any restrictions and taking position, renting everywhere and going into businesses or activities that probably have not been sanctioned by law for foreigners to go into. And so you realize that somewhere last 2 years, we had the traders unions at loggerheads. I think you made a lot of, I listened to you, where you raised a lot of issues. And that was when, some of us thought that the law must be enforced. If we have a law that cannot be enforced, chances are that you are going to have some of these people coming in the name of, a certain ECOWAS treaty and veering off into other things. And you call
So are you saying initially from what you've seen that a lot of the kidnappings are being done by a particular group of people? You're already
yes, largely.
Profiling the suspected perpetrator?
Largely, but also remember we have a lot of copycats.
Okay.
Once you begin to have successful kidnappings, then programs like this, we've got to talk about it. So people who are listening, there is a lot of discussions going on about kidnappings. If you remember, when the Takrady girls were, went missing or kidnapped, almost immediately we started having, secondary school girls, some of them probably hiding under beds and telling their boyfriends to call their parents, to say, I've been kidnapped and you need to bring me. I think one person was even jailed.
Yes.
These are the consequences of what you call it, what we are seeing, because then you have a certain trend of people who are specialized in kidnappings as a business. And we over here are beginning to see copycats, playing with what I call kidnappings. And so if you look at it, most of the cases that looked like it wasn't kidnappings, these were false, things that people thought, you could play with it, even though it was serious. And so as far as I'm concerned, I am not, surprised at all, because then the police is used to fighting traditional crime. This is not a traditional, these are not traditional crimes. And so there is also, I'm not surprised when you see the number of, robberies dropping. Because so the last 2-3 years, there's been some form of resources come into the Ghana Police Service to fight traditional crime. We used not to have the police officers on motorbikes, patrol bikes. Now we have a team of officers who go around on motorbikes. I'm sure you've seen them patrolling our streets and doing snap checks and making sure things are done. This Easter we didn't see too much of crimes in our streets, and so traditional crimes would come down over the period, whilst this type of new crime, which is to me very serious, taking shape. And so
so you describe kidnapping as non-traditional.
It's a non-traditional crime, if you ask me, because then you can see how it's becoming difficult for the police. It is just recently that the police is becoming very swift with rescuing people who are deemed to be kidnapped. If you know the case in Kumasi, that night I'm told the police did not sleep at all. They had to be on the beat, calling, because then with the lessons they learned from the Takrady missing, they are kidnapped but missing. It took time because they needed to get to the telecos, for the telecos to give them information, data, access to whatever. Now, it looks like they've been able to work around it to be able to fast track their own investigations. Because I am here, if I make a call to you somewhere, the telcos are, you communicate through cell sites. They are able to tell where you are. Give an estimated area where you are. But if it is going to take a telecom company to say, go to court and get a warrant before I give you access to Adam Bona's information, by the time you wait for the court to come at 9, I might have moved location. And so these are some of the things that, to me, probably in other places, crimes like this, you could go to the judge's home for the judge to sign a warrant. These are things that, because these are serious crimes, but unfortunately, we are still treating it as if though it is the normal traditional crime. And so I have called for the involvement of the executive, because this also looks like a cross-border crimes, where people are coming in, and our own people sometimes are also beginning to learn this trend of crimes.
And I think, let me take a quick comment from Bright before we take our first break. Bright, so you are interested in the children's dimension. Have you been following how many of these cases, for example, affect children or adults? Is that something you've been interested in at all? Because I know you've been quite vociferous in the Takrady case as well. So do you have a sense of the percentage of these kidnappings that affect kids?
Yes, of course, but not necessarily in terms of the kidnapping, because there are different forms, abduction and the missing and all that. So clearly, these activities affect children the most. And because of that, we need to also look at how best we can deal with the issue. Again, I'm not a security expert, but because of the social aspect of it and what the consequences will be in terms of what the families will go through and all that. That is why we decided to be on board. But this has really opened my eyes to a lot of things. I've taken a study on some of these security issues relating to trafficking and then also kidnapping and all that. And I realized that, well, if you pick kidnapping, you would look at it as a non-traditional crime, which, of course, I would buy into that, because there are certain crimes that we export to this, we pick from other countries, and then they come here, so therefore the police do not have the skill to deal with it in that context. But I also believe that there are a lot of signals that we've had in the past. For instance, I can pick trafficking as one of the things that the police can learn from, because if you come to trafficking, Ghana Police Service is noted to be one of the best in the West African region. Exactly. So, and if you look at the whole mode of operation relating to kidnapping, they operate with the same concept. So the police, for me, should have some level of knowledge in terms of how to deal with this. So describing it as non-traditional, I don't know the context in which that is being discussed, because they've been able to deal with issues of trafficking, tracing to other countries, work with Interpol, and then be able to rescue some of these issues. So it's, for me, if it is still happening and the police are describing as non-traditional, then it means that there are certain experts in the system that they are not engaging, because there are people who are in the system that worked on some of these things, got a name for Ghana in respect to how Ghana can react and take quick action regarding how they deal with trafficking issues and all that.
So you think they can import the lessons from trafficking to kidnapping?
Of course.
Although if you ask some, they will say that those are two different crimes. Because kidnapping, for example,
it is, but the mode, you see, the most of these things, you record it against foreign nationals and all that. That's the same way we started with trafficking. The police started complaining, and Ghana government sponsored certain people to be trained on how to deal with this issue. So we are able to stop it, because at the point, Ghana became a center of it. We receive, we also, people traffic people from here and all that. So Ghana became a center of the whole discussion. So they were able to train people to do that. And I don't think that, looking at other countries, how they were able to deal with trafficking, it is the same way that they were able to deal with kidnapping. You know, so we have to, for me, in my opinion, if you ask me, I would say that at least Ghana Police Service is a step ahead in dealing with it. But as to whether or not we are taking it serious, that is where the issue is.
A good introductory comment. So take a short break. There's a lot more we'll be discussing when we come back. So we have some examples of, more examples actually, of kidnapping, some of which resulted in ransom being paid before the people were released. Whether that muddies the waters or not, we will find out. And also, we will have your comments, because quite a number of you are not happy with the way the police is dealing with this. And I will deal with the Takrady girls, because even today there was a development. The main suspect was jailed, but not for kidnapping, for something else. We'll tell you when we come back.
The conversations that help you shape your spiritual journey as a Christian. Find the answers you seek. Catch the 700 Club with Pat Robertson every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. on City TV. Policy makers, the top personalities, the people at the center of the news. They speak on Face to Face. One of a kind access into the lives and the stories of our time.
So these are some of the things. If you want time, as I was boarding the plane,
it just came
queue,
to you.
Just straight from the launch to the queue, a song drop. So
Face to Face with Godfred Akotobuafo every Tuesday at 9 p.m.
welcome back. This is The Point of View. Tonight we're trying to understand the growing spate of kidnapping. 68 reported cases in 2018, 22 confirmed, another 25 were abductions, which is not necessarily a great thing, because abductions are like the practice for kidnapping. And then, of course, there's 7 missing people and then 6 false cases. And then in 2019, in our news reports, we've had about 20 instances or cases or reports. And as in the news work, have there been instances where families actually did pay ransom and the people released?
Yes.
Can you give me a few more of those stories?
For instance, in this particular story, coming from the Aguna Suidro area,
okay,
the family was charged 5,000 Ghana cedis as ransom to pay to the kidnappers. They bargained over the phone and they reduced it to 3,000 Ghana cedis. This was in March this year.
Wow.
After they paid the money, their son, who was 9 years old, he was released back to the family after the payment was done.
Was the police involved in this?
No.
So the family paid 3,000 and the person was released?
Yeah, they didn't involve the police because that was a warning that was given to the family. If you involve the police, we will kill your son.
Wow.
So they bargained over the phone, paid the money to them, and they received their family member. In most of the cases, the families who quickly inform or involve the police, they either end up paying more, or the person that they are looking for to rescue from these kidnappers, they don't get the person.
So which is there are quite a number of cases where they haven't reported the police and they've quietly paid the ransom.
Most of them, we don't have them reported to the media. But because of my work with the police and some other security agencies, they will tell you, they will pay the money before they will now report to the police that this was what happened.
So they report to the police after the fact of the release?
Yes, after paying, because they are afraid. If we involve the police, this is a threat, we are going to kill your family member.
So this means that we are establishing that these are professional kidnappers,
yes,
looking for ransom.
Yes. And Bernard, if I know that by virtue of me registering a fake SIM card, putting it on a mobile phone, then I'll just go grab somebody's 9-year-old son, put him somewhere, use this fake SIM card to make a phone call, and that will get me 3,000 Ghana cedis. Do you expect me to pick a gun and stand by the street to rob somebody? No. So robberies definitely will come down, but people will be in coat and tie, make few fake phone calls, and they'll earn money. And Bernard, if we look at the top cases of kidnapping that we've recorded, we know that there are some foreign nationals, especially Nigerians, who are in our country, and they're doing genuine business. We know. But we can't run away from the fact that kidnapping cases is on the rise because we have a lot of Nigerians here. Bernard, the last time
is this something you're saying based on what the police have told you?
Yes.
So give me the cases. Which
Bernard, for instance, in the Amasaman case, where a 30-year-old was rescued by the Accra Regional Police Command.
How far back is this?
This was last month.
A 30-year-old.
30-year-old. According to the police.
Amasaman.
Yeah. According to the police, they went to her residence. The suspects,
a woman,
went to her residence, robbed her, injured her house help.
Who is dead now?
Is it?
Yeah. Yes. Kidnapped her and took her from her home, drove her far into the bush at Amasaman, where the police rescued this particular woman. One of the suspects, who is a Nigerian, was arrested. The other one is still on the run, and the police are looking for him. That's the first case. Secondly, the Tadi girls, we all know that the suspect is a Nigerian. The consulate of Estonia that was kidnapped and rescued, the people involved are Nigerians. The Kasua case, which is still a suspected case, is linked to the Nigerians.
This is the 2-year-old who was dead, who was found.
And my chat with somebody who is actually a top security person in Nigeria, he told me that was during an Interpol West Africa meeting. He said something. He said kidnapping in Nigeria is like assault in Ghana.
Are you serious?
When you go to Nigeria and you are reporting...
Is this a Nigerian telling you this?
Yes, a Nigerian security person who works with Interpol. He was here for Interpol West Africa conference. He said, look, kidnapping they were surprised when we started making noise about this whole thing. In Nigeria, it's just like you insult your wife and she insults you back and you go to the police station to report. That's just how they see kidnapping. So if we allow these people to come, we should at least, we know that we have laws governing how people should come in and out. But if we have the police and the immigration service involving in street fights over suspected illegal Nigerians who are here and they were arrested by one party, another one is saying, no, they are our boys, allow them to go, we will have some of these things happening.
Wow. Adam, this is scary. So is it fair in security analysis to characterize a particular group? Because you said there have been 20 cases. You give me 4 examples where the people involved are suspected, or the suspects are Nigerians. Will it be fair to say that the increase in kidnappings is because one particular... Isn't that a very dangerous path to tread?
It is a very dangerous path to tread, but the truth is that it is factual. And if you do the analysis, just look at what do you call it. It's moved from luring people to taking people, with guns, hostage. If you look at how the Tadi girls were taken, they were lured in to give you employment. And, they fell for it, and they were probably taken against their wish. Subsequently, we've seen people, they grab you, in the middle of the streets. The one that happened around the Osu Spintex area, the one in, what do you call that? Kumasi. And so it is now moving from luring people and probably picking little boys to now capturing, you call it capturing, what do you call it? Full-grown, adults who might have probably lighter skin than I have. And so we will not be far from the truth. And so I have heard somewhere where the Nigerian community over here says they are going to help the security agencies to fight this canker. And hoping that the immigration service, the Ghana Police Service, the executive, I'm still waiting to hear the executive make,
a substantive comment. I have a comment I'm going to play for you shortly. Brian, I want you to listen to this report because the main suspect in the Takoradi case, which is a case you are very interested in, was sentenced today, but it wasn't for kidnapping. So our reporter, Mr. Enim, is that his name? Akwesi Eje Enim, filed a report on today's sentencing of the main suspect in the Takoradi kidnapped girls case.
Sam Odietu Quills, the Nigerian allegedly behind the 3 kidnapped Takoradi girls, arrived at the Takoradi Market Circle District Court under tight security after failing to appear on 2 earlier sittings to face charges of escaping lawful custody, destroying public property, and resisting arrest. Wells last appeared before the court on 4th March, where he was asked to produce his witness, One Kwesi, with the assistance of investigators. After failing to appear on the 1st and subsequently on the 15th April sittings, Wells could still not produce his witness in court today, though he had earlier led BNI investigators on a search at Kansarodo and Kufurudia on 3 occasions without success. Presiding Judge Michael Ampedu, in his response, said the 3 opportunities given him to produce his witness was enough in ensuring fairness, therefore sentenced Sam Wells to 18 months in prison. He is to serve the 18 months concurrently on each of the 2 out of the 3 charges, which are escaping from lawful custody and destroying public property, since the police could not prove the last charge of resisting arrest. Lawyer for the families, Nana Abeka and Michael Crunchy, both told City News they want the IGP to swiftly go into the substantive case of the whereabouts of the kidnapped girls.
It's a ruling which the court gave to, as a way of keeping the accused or in cells, in prison, so that the investigation into the substantive matter, that is the kidnapping of the girls, could go on and be completed.
So that is the motive behind this judgment on the escape. I'm not satisfied. We expect. That is why I once again use this media to urge the IGP that put all resources at your disposal and check out these girls, because we hear that these girls are there in the eastern region. We hear from the police. And what stops the police from bringing down these girls? So they should do their work.
The issue about the kidnapping, that is the kidnapping case that is being heard in court, took so much of the time. And today that a conclusion has been drawn on the matter, I would say I'm okay. He has been sentenced 18 months for the escape. And I think that would enable the BNI or the police, whoever is in charge, to speed up their investigation on the substantive issue. We do hear that there is a liaison team that is in charge to talk to the family about the matter. But the fact is, we've seen no one, we've heard from no one. We have been going to the regional command for information. If we don't take the measure to go, we don't get any information. We only hear news as we listen to the radio, as we watch the television. That is where we get our news from.
Even though this case happens to be a case for the families of the 3 kidnapped girls, the issue has gone beyond the family. And as we speak, all these people here seem not to be happy with the proceedings so far. And I have some of the residents of Takoradi here who are not happy, and they want to say something. Why are you here? And what have you got to say about this whole thing?
I'm here to look at the proceedings of this kidnapping case. Unfortunately, one of the girls is my church member. And the case has come to an end in this court. But since we haven't seen the girls, it has not come to an end. We want to see the girls. That is what we are after. It's not the judgment or whatever. It is the girls that we want to see. So please, we are pleading with the government. The parents are not hearing anything. They should give them information. The police should give the parents information. That is what we need now. And we are looking for our children.
Just look at how the police were protecting the guy, as if he's the president of the nation. Just one guy, just check the number of policemen guarding this guy. We are not okay with this case. If nothing is going to do, if they are going to do nothing about this case, people are going to take decision of their own. That's what I have to say.
For City News, I'm a question journey.
The police. So that was Akwesi JNM in his trademark sign up. Right, you've been very much involved in this. You started some campaign.
Yes.
Of all the kidnappings, why did this one catch your attention? What's so unique about this one?
Well, we decided to follow this particular one because when the issue broke up, we came in, and when we were told that the police is involved in dealing with the matter, we decided that no one is with the police. We would get a favorable answer from them until we visited the families and realized that things are not as we thought it was. So we had a discussion with the family, and they were saying all kinds of things to us based on some communication that they had with the police. And clearly, some of them I cannot put it on air, to the extent that even some police officers were blaming their kid for even having engagement with the kidnappers and all that. So we thought that no, we need to really come out and then see how best we can help for the family to get information. Because what is happening now, the family, the position is that they are uncertain as to the whereabouts of their children, which of course they know. But the issue of they waking up tomorrow to know that somebody says that they know where the girls are, they cannot see them. The next morning somebody comes out and says that they don't know where the girls are. Media will put a report out there that they know the whereabouts of the children. They are going through medical examination. And they even mention specific areas that you can find these children. But the family are not getting any information from the security system. And that is so worrying. And again, beyond
do you
the
suspect
issue
that there's a parallel investigation? Because the police CID boss was quite categorical in a press statement that she knows where the girls are.
Yeah, and made reference to BNI.
And then later on, she couldn't back it up. Then Daily Guide, which usually gets some of these things right, when Daily Guy writes a story about security on certain issues,
exactly,
they will generally be correct. For them to write a story categorical that the girls have been found, only for them to sort of backtrack the next day, is it that some people know where the girls are, but they are trying to ascertain, and somebody jumped the gun to report it? What is possibly going on there?
Well, Bernard, one, let's look at the person who made the statement. The CID boss is not just an ordinary person in the police service. Therefore, if she says something, I will not take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, you look at Daily Guide.
Yeah.
A newspaper like Daily Guide will come out and say that they found the girls. I will not also take that for granted. Then, if you look at the letter that the police wrote, they were not specific on certain things. They were just saying that they cannot confirm the report that Daily Guide put out there. So there is something that we need to know. And for me, going into this and also getting certain information, I see clearly that there's some kind of parallel investigation going on, which I cannot confirm, in relation to what the police are doing and what BNI is doing. And I can premise my argument on the basis of this, that when they arrested this person, it was BNI who did the arrest and handed over the person to the police. Then when it was at the police custody, all these dramas started. Then they have to go and do the rearrest again. So there's also an issue of whether or not there's a trust between the Ghana police and BNI, and as to whether there's an information with BNI and they don't want to release it to the police because they don't trust the police, or the police is also doing their own thing and BNI is also doing their own thing. All these are things that they've made room for us to speculate around because of the kind of behavior that they are putting out there. But whatever it is, for us, we think that the condition of the family is very important. And one of the things that we can do to lessen the pain that they are going through is to let them to have access to information as to what is happening regarding their children. Then also, the issue about whether or not the system can provide them with certain services. When I visited, I realized that even Ghana government, through social welfare, has not even provided any psychosocial support for the family. So they live their life on a daily basis thinking that one day
so
they will see
no
their children.
Information from the police.
No information
no
from
support
the police.
From social welfare.
No social services.
So they depend on media.
Yes, they depend on media for
information.
Happening. And they depend on their own self for how to live the next day. And elsewhere, when something like that happens, the system will provide some clinical psychologists to work on them.
All right. We'll take another break. When we come back, we have lots of messages and try and wrap this up. So we're trying to understand why these kidnapping cases are on the increase and whether the police are anywhere close to resolving the most high profile of them, which is the 3 Takoradi girls. Stay with us.
Let's take you on a journey of discovery. The incredible sights, artifacts, music, and adventure. It is what makes life worth living. Our history, the arts, and soul. Art and Soul with Melissa Awad. Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Only on City TV.
Art and soul, art, soul, art and soul, art, yeah, soul, art and soul, art, soul, art and soul.
We spice up your mornings with culturally enriched conversations, social interviews, and policy-oriented discussions that will keep you updated on the progress of the nation. Let your voice be heard with the hashtag #BreakfastDaily.
It's actually a good thing and healthy to be okay in your own skin. Not because you don't have the options, but it's also healthy to be able to say, listen, I'm going to the movies by myself. I'm going to the restaurant by myself.
Join us for Breakfast Daily, only on City TV. Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10.
So welcome back. This is still The Point of View. My guest, Adam Bona, security analyst. Bright Appiah is a child rights activist. And my colleague, Anna Sedu, who's a security correspondent covering a lot of the cases. Before I read your comments, the president has been speaking. So our presidential correspondent reports that the president today met with the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition, and he was asked a question about the growing spate of kidnappings, and this was his comment.
We are all concerned about this phenomenon of kidnappings, which we have not known. Our brothers and sisters in Nigeria have known it, but we have not known it in this country, and we need to do something about it to make sure that it doesn't become a feature of our society. I am very, very, very determined on the issue, and decisions are being taken as we speak that will be a clear manifestation of the determination I have to deal with this matter.
So does this look like someone who's been briefed on the seriousness of this matter in terms of the way he attacked it? Because we've heard the president. We know when he's angry. We know when he's passionate. This was, I don't know what question was asked, but it seemed rather brief, and it seemed very general.
Yeah, well, if you ask me, I would say no.
Yeah.
It looks like either his security advisors have not briefed him. They haven't told him Ghanaians are angry. Go to the Western region and people are enraged. Go to, Kasua, people are enraged. All over the country, it's getting to that boiling point. And so the expectation is that if the president has to make a statement on anything kidnapping, if his security advisors, if they are listening, they better advise the president well. They should let him know that this issue, it's probably will lead to something that we might not be able to get ourselves back out of. And so I was expecting the president to probably tell us that I have established contact with my counterparts in Nigeria. I have put in ABCD resource, because then from whichever day, I'm sure anytime the president comes before the media or comes to any point where there has to be questions and answers, it's going to be dominated by kidnappings, because now the investment community, those who have businesses and have to come in, probably will begin to panic. I'm sure a Korean was robbed at a 5-star or 4-star hotel here in Accra, right? Mm-hmm. And so mine is that I was expecting the president, I haven't heard this, it's on your network.
It was just today, he said it a few...
And so my expectation would have been good. He didn't talk about it at all.
Mm-hmm. He didn't give you the fire you were hoping to get.
Because then people...
And you think they should get to a presidential level now? He should be calling Buhari?
Yes.
If he feels, for example, that because of the reports they're getting, that some of these perpetrators are from Nigeria, he ought to be a bit more
Most of them are from Nigeria. Let's not say
you'll be bold or not say most.
Most of them are from Nigeria, because then if you look at the trend, you can count. Most of them are from Nigeria. And so mine is that the president by this time should have been speaking to his counterpart, speaking to Buhari, President Buhari, letting him know, you see, your people are in my country and we seem to have a problem with them in terms of kidnappings. Kidnappings is like petty stealing in Nigeria, but over here, we don't want it. So I need you to let your people know that those who don't have legal status should get out of the country. Those who are here doing genuine business can stay, but then they should stay within the remit of
a stretch. If there are people doing kidnapping, you have police, arrest them, jail them.
No, the point
but once you start generalizing to say your people, there are people who do business for years.
My point, Bernard, you see, my point is that if you say you have the police, just like I said, the police has been busy dealing with traditional crimes. They've been very busy dealing with traditional crimes. Now we have this sophisticated type of crime where you get up and someone is pointing a gun at you not to take your mobile phone, but then taking you hostage and demanding $500,000, $500,000 US. And you are supposed to look for the money or else they do something to you. And so mine is that, yes, the police would want to deal with it as swiftly as possible, but we need a presidential statement where this issue would be dealt with to calm people down. Because at the moment, if this statement is not made, we are all at risk, because you will get up and it's just somebody who will trigger the fire and say, hey, I've seen a kidnapper.
So do we have specific areas in the country where this is becoming rampant? Because ahead of Kaswa, ahead of Amasaman, there's also Takrady. And there's also Spintex. It's almost like it's very scattered.
It's scattered. And it is because the immigration service needs to probably up its game as well.
Okay. The police put out a certain announcement. I'll put it on the screen shortly. But here are a few of your comments. So whilst we put that on the screen, Bernard, I've heard Bright appear fighting for these young girls for some time now. He's done his part. The girls should have been found by now. I support the family marching to the CID headquarters from Peter in McCarthy Hill. It is the actors who deliberately refuse to act. It is only in Ghana that a CID boss will behave like this and still be opposed. I can't be a proud Ghanaian noble from East Legon. We are not safe here in Kaswa as well, especially Lamte, Masalachi and its environs. The Nigerians are a threat to us. Some of them are really doing bad things. More comments. Bernard, the police must come clean on the tardy girls in order to calm nerves. Ask Mr. Bonat to tell us what to do if we are being contacted by kidnappers or our relatives are being kidnapped. Maybe you end with that. How do you deal with a situation like this? Dr. Dade in Kumasi says, lovely brains from your guest. I'm really enjoying the analysis. But it's high time these kidnappers started attacking our politicians. Wow. I don't think I subscribe to that.
No.
Kofi Seydou says, in other jurisdictions, the CID boss would have resigned by now or be sacked by the appointing authority for peddling falsehood about the whereabouts of the kidnapped girls. Adam, you haven't said anything about the seeming, the information asymmetry. Bernard, why is Adams Bonat giving credit to the police for the Kumasi rescue? The story had it that the victim managed to overpower the kidnappers and escape. Okay. Bernard, the increase in the number of kidnapping cases in the country is a result of unemployment and the excruciating hardships in the country. Joblessness is the remote cause of kidnapping. This is Kofi Seydou. Zolani in Nungwas has a long one. Okay, no, actually, this is a different person. Dikadi Spintex. Can an ask confirm whether the families of the missing Takrady girls have an agent or link to the GPS? Shouldn't there be a liaison bridging, this is the Ghana Police Service, bridging the misinformation gap for the families of the missing girls? Bernard, what's the Immigration Service mission or mandate in this surge of kidnapping in the country? Should the supervisory ministry and political heads be blamed entirely? Elom in Bachona. Interesting, your security correspondent speaks with loads of conviction that a sect of nationals are perpetrating the act of kidnapping. Shouldn't the ministries of Foreign Affairs and Interior collaborate to phase out the non-traditional crime? But let's be cautious on picking on a particular nationality in Ghana, whether legal or not. There's a lot of comments on this. Adams, somebody wants your advice on what to do if a relative is allegedly kidnapped or if kidnappers get in touch. Should they cooperate with the kidnappers or go to the police?
Well, you cooperate with them and still call the police. It's very important because at the end of the day, you see, in this, what do you call it, Takrady case, this missing girls, you realize that some of the families actually started paying, bits and bits of ransom here and there. And so one would say that the fact that you cooperate with them and pay ransom does not necessarily mean that they would release your relation. What is important, because timing is very important. If you look at your correspondent didn't talk about the young boy who was, kidnapped by the lady and was rescued immediately.
Yes. There was that story as well.
Yes, okay.
A lady and a boyfriend.
Yes. You see, the timeliness of the information is so key. And so once this happens, do not delay. Once they call you, pick up the information, be where you are, call the police. You might decide not to even move from where you are. I'm sure the police would come in and they would be able to pick up, coordinates of, where they are calling from and all that. And so it is key, but don't give them any room to suspect that you are going to call the police and share the information with the police, because then if you don't,
then you are going to endanger a relative.
You are going to endanger your relative. And so these are things that probably...
I have a minute to go. You work with the police as a journalist. They didn't want to speak on this issue. What's happening to them? Is it that they don't have any new information, or they decide not to talk until they find the girls?
Initially, actually, I wanted to get some update from the police as at Friday. But they said, according to the police, they want to come out to speak about this matter when the girls are found. And later, subsequently, what is happening is that they say they don't want to come out to say old things.
So they want new information.
So there's a possibility that there's no new thing for them to say.
So until they have something new to say, they won't say anything.
Besides, according to the police, the first update they gave backfired.
So they are waiting for the right information.
Right information.
I see.
But, Bernard, somebody asked a question whether there's
a liaison between the family and the police.
Initially, the police said in their statement, in reaction to the publication by Daily Guide, that they've appointed somebody to mediate.
But that was proven to be false.
But later, the family said...
No. I don't speak for the family.
Are you going to demonstrate?
Oh, no, I don't think that they...
So what's the next line of action for the family?
We have launched a campaign gathering signatures.
Online?
Yes.
What's
online.
the website? We have
you type Child Rights International and then you get it.
Child Rights International.
Change.org and then you see the petition.
The petition is there. Bryce, thank you for being on the show. Great job, Bryce. I've worked with him for many, many years. Yeah. He's been dealing with... We'll do trafficking with you one of these days. You've been doing that as well. Adams Bona, who's really phenomenal, quite clear and very precise on crime in general, security analyst. He writes as well. We publish some of his articles on citynewsroom.com. And of course, my journalist, Anas Seidu, who is our security correspondent. Thank you for watching. My name is Bernard Avile. Stay with City TV. Bye-bye.
Point of View is brought to you in association with Stanbic Bank, moving forward.